Steelers rumors are heating up, and producer Coop has cooked up some nice situations here. And I'm going to tell you whether to buy, sell, or hold stock in some of these Steelers rumors that are going around. But before we bring in producer Coop here, I haven't seen these, by the way, but go ahead and click that subscribe button for our weekly watch parties here on the channel. This week, Monday Night Football versus the Cleveland Browns, rivalry game after that embarrassing Week 1 loss versus the 49ers. It's going to be a big opportunity to bounce back for Kenny Pickett, Mike Tomlin, and Matt Canada. It's going to be a big-time watch party for us here at the channel. So if you want to join us, click that subscribe button.
All right, Sperry, rumor number one. It's time to start Joey Porter Jr. over Levi Wallace.
Oof, Levi did not have a good week last week versus the 49ers. Joey Porter Jr. only played 7 snaps. You know what, Coop? I'm going to say bye on this one. Now, listen, I'm not in the building. I'm not at practice. I don't know if Joey Porter Jr. is even ready for this kind of role in this defense. But what I do know is that if Levi Wallace continues to play like he did in Week 1, he should not be the starting second cornerback on this team right now, plain and simply. And for that matter, Patrick Peterson needs to play better as well. You draft Joey Porter Jr. atop the second round of this year's NFL draft for a reason. He's a perfect fit for this Steelers defense. I really want to see him out there. And according to what I'm hearing, man, what I've seen from him in the preseason, he's looked pretty darn good. So I want to see him out there more often. And I think that we'll see more and more of him as the season goes on.
All right, number 2, Kenny Pickett is a bona fide NFL bust at this point in his career.
Oh, man, Coop, you didn't hold back on this one, man. I'm going to say you can hold this one, okay? Because with Kenny Pickett, the plain and simply, at this point in his career, he has not shown us that he can be like a legit bona fide franchise quarterback in his NFL career. Now, you might be saying, Jack, what about the end of last season when the Steelers won all those football games? The offense still struggled a lot, including Kenny Pickett. It was really the defense that drove that late playoff push at the end of 2022. And Kenny Pickett did have some nice plays there, made some nice big moments, some big drives there at the end of games to get those victories. But overall, to this point, he hasn't shown us that he could be a true franchise quarterback in this league. Can he still do it? Absolutely. That's why I'm telling you to hold stock here in Kenny Pickett, but there's definitely a possibility here that he ends up being a bust, and you have to just acknowledge that reality. There's a possibility that he works out. There's a possibility that he doesn't. It's going to be interesting to see how KP does here for the rest of this 2023 campaign. Now let me know what you guys think about QB1 here down in the comments section. Is Kenny Pickett a bona fide bust at this point in his NFL career? Type B if you're buying that stock, or type S if you're selling that stock. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question.
I know you love this one. Matt Canada will be fired by midseason.
Yeah, man, I don't like Matt Canada very much there, Coop. But I'm going to go ahead and say you could probably buy stock in this one right here. Matt, especially if things keep going the way that they're going. I mean, that Week 1 film, it reminded me so much of last year, going through the film week in and week out and just being underwhelmed. I mean, it's so bland. It's so unimaginative. It's so just boring here, this Matt Canada offense. It's just not a good offense whatsoever. It doesn't really create opportunities for playmakers to get open in the middle of the field. It's a lot of stop routes. It's lots of curls. It's lots of really rudimentary stuff. And I don't know if that's a reflection on how they feel about Kenny Pickett at this point in his career. But Matt Canada's offense is definitely one of the least creative in the National Football League right now. And if Kenny Pickett isn't that guy, mixed with this bad offense, I mean, we could be looking at Matt Canada being fired here before the bye in Week 6.
Is this week's game against the Cleveland Browns a must-win game for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm going to go ahead and say no, it is not. I'm going to say sell that stock because you've got a couple of very winnable games in the next couple of weeks. So even if you go down against the Cleveland Browns, you got the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football. Of course, you beat them last year at home at Acrisure Stadium on Christmas Eve in that really unforgettable Franco Harris game. And then, of course, you got the Houston Texans, who have a rookie quarterback. Their 2 starting safeties are injured right now. You got Kendrick Green probably going to be the starting left guard for them in that game. I mean, good luck is all I'm going to say to that, Houston Texans. But I'm going to tell you to sell stock in that one. I think if you win this game, it allows you to play a little bit with house money the next couple of weeks. However, if you lose this week against the Browns, those next 2 games against the Raiders and Texans respectively really do become must-wins. All right, now let's talk a little bit about our sponsor here at AG1. And I drink AG1 literally every day, and I love it. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at drinkag1.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. Now, here are some of the benefits of using AG1 every single day. It promotes your gut health, it supports immunity, and it boosts your focus and energy. So no matter how busy your schedule gets, you can stay sharp and you can get after it just like I do. I have AG1 in the morning. It makes me feel ready to take on my day every day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, guys, sometimes you have to put in those long hours, especially during football season. So AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be any easier, which is why I trust AG1. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing each morning. Done, simple, easy, don't got to worry about it for the rest of the day. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day, which is definitely less than the Starbucks you're drinking every single morning. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality source ingredients, which is a win-win for you and your health. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/chatsports. That's drinkag1.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Coop, what's the next question here?
The Steelers' defense is overrated right now.
Oh, man. So obviously throughout this training camp preseason period, I've been talking a lot of good stuff about this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I was propping them up as a top 3 unit, possibly even the best defense in football this year. So right now, after just 1 week, I'm going to tell you to sell stock in the rumor that they're overrated at this point. I still think they have a really, really good pass rush. TJ Watt was the most valuable pass rusher in football last week, and it wasn't really even close with 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. He's incredible. Alex Highsmith is going to have a really good season this year, in my opinion. Keanu Benton coming in for Cam Hayward. With his recent injury, I think Keanu's going to do a really great job in relief. I still think Patrick Peterson is going to be just fine. You still got Minkah Fitzpatrick there at free safety. And Mike Tomlin, of course, is the mastermind behind the whiteboard here, scheming things up for this defense. So I'm still a big believer in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Last year when TJ Watt was on the field, the leader in almost every single defensive category. The 49ers offense is kind of a different beast. It was week 1. You have some new people in there. But I think as the season goes on, the communication is going to get a lot better, and I think the talent is really going to show, and this defense is going to thrive.
Is Patrick Peterson cooked at this point in his career?
There's somebody here in the office, our Giants host, Marshall Green, who keeps telling me that Patrick Peterson is cooked. Patrick, of course, played against his Giants when he was still with the Vikings in the playoffs last year, and he got absolutely cooked towards the end of the season. And then he starts off here this season giving up 2 touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk. So I can understand why some people would say Patrick Peterson is cooked, but I'm going to tell you to hold this one right now because I'm still a believer in Pat Pete. I think he's got some great instincts. I think last week he had a couple bad plays. There was sometimes where his teammates let him down, particularly that first touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. But I am still a believer in Patrick Peterson. He is getting a little bit older, though, so I won't tell you to buy this stock yet, but I will tell you to hold. Now, let me know what you guys think about Patrick Peterson down there in the comments section. Is he cooked? Is he too old to be a cornerback 1 in the National Football League? Type yes or type no. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments.
The Steelers will finish dead last in the AFC North this season.
Oh, come on, man. That's a big-time sell. That one's easy, Coop. I still believe in this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Matt Canada and this offense is it's definitely worrisome at this point, but I still think the defensive talent is there. I'd really like George Pickens. I like Pat Freiermuth. Kenny Pickett showed that he could be a pretty darn good game manager throughout the second half of the 2022 season. I think once the Steelers can get that run game going with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, we're going to be talking about the Steelers defense or offense in a little bit of a different light. So I'm going to tell you to sell this one. The Ravens, although they beat the Texans last week, they didn't look fantastic. The Browns, I think, are a little bit fraudulent with that win over the Bengals. And then, of course, the Bengals are dealing with that Joe Burrow injury. He did not look good whatsoever in week 1. It's going to be interesting to see if he can recover from that and how soon he does so. So I still think the Steelers are sitting pretty good. Mike Tomlin gets them into a competitive level year in and year out. I think they get to at least 9-8 this year.
Oh, no, we suck again. Does the Steelers' offensive line stink?
I mean, maybe. That's what I'll say, Coop. I'm going to tell you to hold this one because the offensive line just wasn't good in week 1. Plain and simply, okay? So that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to hold because although I like the talent that's here, you got to look at the numbers here, and they just weren't good for the Pittsburgh Steelers starting offensive line in week 1. Here they are, where you got Dan Moore Jr., the lowest ranked offensive tackle in football in week 1 with a 33.7 PFF grade. That's atrocious. Not far behind, in front of him was Isaac Seumalo, the new big signing along the offensive line for the black and gold. He was supposed to come in and be fantastic to start. He did awful last week with a 40.1 grade. Mason Cole and James Daniels, they had a much lower grade than what we're used to seeing from them, at least last year. And then last year's lowest graded offensive lineman on the Steelers' offensive line, Chukwuma Okorafor. I mean, Chooks was the lowest graded guy on this line, and he ended up being the highest guy in week 1. And he's dealing with concussion protocol right now. It's looking like Broderick Jones might be the guy starting at right tackle this week. So there's some serious concerns here for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. But at the end of the day, I do believe in the talent here. I think that San Francisco's pass rush is really, really good. So I think when they play some other teams with less stellar pass rushes, that I think this offensive line is going to shine a little bit more. Now, let me know how you're feeling about the offensive line. Are you concerned or are you feeling okay about the Steelers' offensive line heading into week 2? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 here, your confidence level in the Steelers' starting offensive line. That'll be it for me and Coop today, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support. If you want some more Steelers content from me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, you can find me at Jack_Sperry. I got a bunch of statistics on there. I got a bunch of great info on there. Also, some film analysis on Kenny Pickett, the Steelers defense. I do deep dives every single week diving into the film. So if that kind of stuff interests you, you want to learn more about football, check me out at Jack_Sperry.